We have some flashing signals on the crypto market that are getting hit, and exactly as we predicted yesterday in yesterday's video, I said you have to pay attention because this line is most likely going to get crossed, and I said if that gets crossed, bullish things are about to flip in the crypto market. And not only that, we had a very bullish signal come in, so you can see it get triggered right at here on Vector, and this is went up, and we actually hit 3 TP zones in the last 24 hours. So who says you can't make money in this market right now? There's heaps of money to be made. 3 TPs, and we actually haven't even got our exit signal out of the trade just yet. So on the hourlies, this is where the action is, right? So if you're trading Bitcoin, pay attention to the hourly candles. This is telling us our story, and we have had some really nice momentum. And but right now we are hitting a little bit of resistance. So we're going to talk about that in today's video, so you can see it actually get hit right here. So we're at about $92,000. There has been a lot of resistance at this previously. So we're going to talk through this, and we're also going to talk through the 4-hourly candles. We'll talk about the daily candles as well, because we haven't broken out of the daily bear trend yet. So some good things still could potentially happen for the rest of the year, but I just want to be, objective in my analysis and give you guys, my take on exactly what's happening right now. But at the moment, hourly candles is the battlefront. This is where a lot of the action is getting generated. We have had some good signals come out in the short term. Okay, so we've had a really nice big pump, $180 billion added to the crypto market last 24 hours. This is probably one of the most important things, right? So you see this total spot Bitcoin ETF volume surpasses 5.1 billion today. What we're actually seeing is, remember, last few days I've told you about the Vanguard ETF. So the Vanguard money is coming into the crypto market. What does that mean? It means just big institutional capital flows are coming in. Typically, that's very bullish for cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum, because more money just comes in. These are typically your long-term holders. So these are people who just park their money into ETFs, and their time horizons might be like 5 years, right? There might be 10 years, but what we're seeing is more demand coming into the crypto. That's going to be a really bullish long-term factor as people make more money. What do they do when they make more money? They invest that money. So this could be a very nice bullish signal to watch out for. Other things you need to pay attention to on the macro front right now is, look, we do have Trump talking about the Fed, right? So there's going to be a Fed rate cut in about a week from now. And then also we're going to get a completely new Fed chairman most likely next year as well. So they're double catalysts to line up for. In regards to risks, so I'm always upfront. I'm not a pumper in the crypto. I'm not a pumper that just wants to, say crypto is always going to go to the moon and stuff like that. I think it's more important I give you guys my honest take. I think in the US economy and also Western economies right now, there is still a lot of risk, right? So you're having really strong growth in AI companies, but also people are losing their jobs. Inflation isn't under control. And, wages are quite sticky, so the wages aren't going up. So I think at a general level, the middle class is probably getting poorer right now. That's a real thing to, have on the radar as we kind of go into next year as well. So just consider that as a bit of a risk factor. I think that's probably the biggest risk factor. But you know what? We're going to take these wins where we can right here. So some good macro signals coming in. Now, if we kind of zoom out, we're going to turn off the signals right here in the short term for our trading and just look at some longer term horizons. What levels we need to get to in the medium term and the long term right here. So if we have a look, so if we turn on our dailies, look, we are fighting back to some degree. So this is nice. You can see right here, the fight back. So we're going back to this, support level, $92,000 right there. And then, next leg up, you're probably going to be looking at about, 97. So that's been a very key support level and also resistance level previously. And once you punch through that, you're going to be looking at about 101, 103. You can see that play out right here. And then once you get to that level, that's where we're going to be potentially challenging, setting up some challenges for all-time highs on the basis that all this macro pumping still goes very well. Right, so that's the macro thing to watch out for. Look, if we look at the 4-hourlies and we look at the dailies as well, let's see what trend we're in right now for some of these patterns. So if we change this, we're in a bullish uptrend for the 4-hourlies, right? So we actually got vector bullish strong, but we haven't hit any TP zones just recently right there. But that's good, right? So, but there's a resistance level on this. So I think it's important we have to punch through the $92,000 level before we could potentially hit these 4-hourly candle TP zones. And then as well on the dailies, look, this hasn't flipped, right? So if we actually change this back to both mode and we have a look right here, we're still in a daily downtrend. We have hit those TP zones on that trade to the short side, but you can see what's interesting, and this is the great thing about this indicator I'm using. It's starting to color code these. So when you're seeing, shifts in price momentum, the candles will change depending on what theme you're using. So you can see right here, you can very easily tell that right here, things are starting to change on the daily. So these candles are becoming a lot more contested. And when they go, really well, it actually flips to a green candle. But at the moment, they're yellow. So it's almost like a stoplight signal. But you can actually change it to, highlight some different ones. I think the Aurora theme actually highlights it very well. So you can see right here, green candles are showing us really good, decent momentum. And then once you start to go into the purple candles, this is when momentum potentially might shift. So you can see it right here, challenge, but red means, we're in a bearish trend. So that's on the dailies, and so that's on the dailies, and we need to fight this back up. So if we keep getting purple candles, most likely, and obviously the price goes up, with potential flip to a green one. And then once we get through this line, so you see this line right here, which is going to be about $97,000 or so roughly, but this might adjust dynamically as we kind of move. That's when it's going to flip bullish, right? The trend will flip bullish on the dailies, but that's the level we have to get to. So obviously $97,000, that's a pretty decent jump. So we're going to have to stay patient. I think right now that's exactly what I'm doing. So I am staying patient, and I think the opportunities are really showing themselves out, mostly at the hourly candles right now. That's where some good money is getting made. But as always with crypto and trading, look, this is risky stuff. So make sure you know what you're doing. Have your risk management in place. If you want to check out Vector Sigma Pro, you can actually do so right now. There'll be a link in the description on this video. I think for a very time limited time, it will actually have a free trial as well. So if you want to trial this, you don't even have to pay money, and I think you can cancel before the trial's over if you don't get value out of it. But that's an actual free trial at the moment running, but I think they might end that soon, so I'm not exactly sure. But you can check it out right there if you want to get in some time limited trials. I think it actually is free currently, but we also have bonuses with BYDFi. So you deposit, trade on that crypto exchange, and it's one of my favorite crypto exchanges. You can unlock those as well, but you'll find them in the description of this video too. But that's a major update for today. Hope you guys got value out of it. If you did like the video, appreciate that. Drop a comment if you have one, or even drop a question, and I'll see you in the next one.